After just less than 12 months, the A-League's Sydney Grand Finals deal could potentially be completely scrapped. This is a massive piece of news which has come out today. This article from Vince Regari in the Sydney Morning Herald. I'll make sure to leave the link for this in the description below. Let's dive into what the article's explaining here, because this is pretty remarkable. We know basically that it was last year off the back of the Men's World Cup in December when the A-Leagues announced that there was a 3-year deal with Destination New South Wales to have the grand finals in Sydney, and it was met with tremendous outrage. No one wanted this, and there could potentially be a massive backflip. So the article here from Vince Regari reads that the A-League's controversial grand final sale to Sydney could be reversed in a move that has the potential to mend fractured relationships between the struggling competition and angry fans. According to sources with knowledge of the discussions who were not authorised to speak publicly due to the sensitivity of the matter, the New South Wales government and the APL are in talks to scrap the remainder of the $12 million 3-year deal that guaranteed Sydney would host the men's and women's grand finals through to 2025. That's worth remembering as well. This deal was for the next few years, and it could have even been longer than that if the APL and Destination New South Wales wanted to do that. But as it says here, this is quite interesting because there's a couple of things here. So this next paragraph, as you can see here, says that contract could instead be spun off into a magic round in which a full weekend of fixtures in the men's and women's A-League will be played in New South Wales, with the grand final hosting rights to return to the team that earns it, how it was previously. So a magic round is something that people have sort of talked about like separately for a while now, especially after both the NRL and AFL have successfully, you'd probably have to say, have implemented it. And myself, and I know a lot of people included, many of you guys, many of you viewers have mentioned to me as well that it'd be something that you'd be keen to see. And I think it'd be fun. I think it would be cool. I think it's something that would be good to sort of rotate, just like the grand final, sort of from city to city. Have it up in Queensland, have it in Sydney, have it down in Melbourne. Even going regional, maybe some regional areas, could be cool, and it might be a good way to sort of experiment and get A-League football played in areas where maybe there isn't necessarily, a potential sort of expansion areas. It was even good sort of seeing the Australia Cup playoffs earlier this year being played in Darwin, Northern Territory, and I like that. So this would be really, really, really fun. An A-League magic round. I am totally down for it. So to hear that not only could the grand final deal be scrapped, but it could potentially be converted into a magic round, I would be totally, totally down for that. While sources have cautioned that nothing has been finalized yet, if an agreement is reached, it will signal the end of one of the most tumultuous chapters in A-League's history. Absolutely. This is, for me, there's nothing that comes close to it in terms of just controversy. The outrage that it has caused amongst Australian football fans, everyone's sort of unanimous. It's one of those. There's a lot of issues that come up, and there's a lot of sort of fans that are torn, or sort of people sitting on the fence, or sort of on both sides. You know what I mean? But this is one issue where sort of everyone's in agreement that no one wanted this, and it's unfortunately been very, very damaging, and it's very exciting, the thought of going back to what we've had previously, which is to have grand finals. The team who rightfully gets to host it hosts the grand final, and we get to see grand finals all across the country, just like we did previously. Melbourne, Adelaide, Sydney, Perth, all over the place, man. So the decision, of course, to sell the grand finals to Sydney via Destination New South Wales was announced, as it says here, as we mentioned earlier, after, of course, the Socceroos' wonderful World Cup run, where they did make it to the round of 16. And that was the disappointing thing, the fact that they sort of halted that momentum, coming off the excitement of the Socceroos. And obviously there was so much, regarding the fans and everything, and boycotts and all that sort of stuff, which is damaging, man. I mean, like, Australia... but I totally understand, fans that do boycott. I mean, it was a tricky situation, and it's tricky with football. It's the A-Leagues isn't the biggest competition in Australia, and we need fans, we need people attending games, and it was really, really tricky. A lot of fans had to make that tricky decision to we saw probably the biggest one was the Cove not attend the Sydney Derby elimination final last season, which was a big one. But that is the main takeaways from this article. As mentioned, I will leave it linked down in the description if you want to check it out. But this is huge news. As, of course, it says here, nothing has been finalized yet. That is worth noting. So we'll keep an eye on it, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated in terms of what happens regarding this piece of news. But the grand final deal potentially to be scrapped, and Magic Round coming into the A-Leagues. It'll be interesting to see whether they implement it this season. I'd be surprised if they were. I mean, the fixtures are already set, and it would mean a bunch of teams would be losing home games, and I'm sure those teams wouldn't be happy about that. And but we'll see, man. It might come into effect this year. Hopefully we can just return to what we had before, because it worked. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. So hey, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Are you happy with the decision to backflip on the grand final potentially if it does go ahead? Are you excited for something like a Magic Round? Do you think that won't work in the A-League? You think it will be good? Let me know your thoughts, and make sure you stay subscribed for more A-Leagues news here on Coastwood Football. My name's Lucky. Cheers, guys.